A gay lawmaker in Alabama is threatening to out some of her colleagues if they run on a platform of family values and use that platform to argue against same-sex marriage. This is Representative Patricia Todd, and she said the following: "I will not stand by and allow legislators to talk about family values when they have affairs, and I know of many who are and have. I will call our elected officials who want to hide in the closet out." She's basically saying, like, look, one of your major arguments, and she's referring to conservatives in Alabama, one of your major arguments against same-sex marriage is that it goes against family values, right? It goes against traditional marriage, and you're against it for that reason. Well, if you're having an affair, that's against family values too, so you should probably be out and open about that. You should be as transparent about that as possible.
So, look, we don't care about people's private lives. We don't think that it affects politics. And so overall, I don't want to get into people's privacy. Republican, Democrat, and we've been consistent on it on the show. And sometimes we'll make fun of a Republican, then we'll say, let him go, right? Okay, because what you think about tax cuts or foreign policy is not really related to whether you're having an affair or not, right? But this is an exception because this is about that issue, right? So, and they're the ones who started it because they tell her your private life is sinful. And we're not going to give you the same rights as we enjoy because we're going to judge you. We're going to say that you're against family values. Even though she's never done anything wrong, and she says, look, I've never cheated on anybody in my life, right? So I actually have these values. So now if you're going to do that to me, what's she supposed to do, sit there and take it? I mean, of course I would strike back, like, oh, you want to talk about family values? All right, Bob, let's have at it. Let's roll up our sleeves and talk about family values.
She already caused some damage, though, right? Like, for instance, if I were the wife of a lawmaker in Alabama, I'd probably meet up with Representative Todd and I'd be like, all right, here's the deal. Here's $10,000 for your next campaign. Is my husband cheating on me?
Man, damn, don't cheat on Anna. she's coming with a check.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, I agree with you. I mean, it's hypocrisy, right? And it's clear hypocrisy, and it goes against what they ran on, you know, what they used to run on for their election. So if you're saying that you're like this self-righteous, holier-than-thou individual who really, really values the traditional family structure, then you shouldn't be cheating on your wife or husband.
I don't agree with it. I have to respect its. I get that it's the issue and that it's separate from if you're a budget hawk, you know, right? So I get it, and I get her, and I like her. I would like her, you know. I'm sure I would be friends with her, but I just couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Like the sanctity of privacy is critical, and we talk about this all the time on the show regarding government spying. And believe me, you know, the moment that I find out that I know it's coming, of what we all sort of speculate on, and think it's happened a couple times, that the government is looking at much more than 8 terrorists, a terrorist cell in Trenton, I'm going to be outraged. But I just couldn't participate in this. It's not cool.
I totally see what you're saying, but I think it's a little unfair to equate that with like government spying.
No,
or
I'm
something.
not. I'm not equating it. I'm just saying, like, I totally get where you guys are coming from.
Yeah.
You might be right. I couldn't do it, and I would respect the people who can't do it. Like, I like that she's talking about it, and it's almost like a bluff, right? You know, but if the time comes, I still hope she goes, no, I'm not going to frickin' out Frank, but I want to. Man, do I want to.
But Frank is openly cheating on his wife. Like, that's the difference, right? So, like, the privacy thing I get, but if Frank is having an affair and this representative knows about it, I mean, how hard is he trying to keep it a secret?
It's just ugly. It is doing something ugly to rectify something ugly. Sometimes that's called for, but this is so specific and so personal that I'm not for it.
So, look, Ben is in some sense outliving us, right?
Right.
Like, you're such a lib that you're like, oh, even though it's probably intellectually consistent, I just can't pull the trigger and ruin that guy's life or whatever it might be, right? I can.
I know you can. Yeah, I got it.
And so here's the thing, Ben. It's because I can sit in her shoes. How dare you judge me? How dare you? I mean, if you come at me and you tell me, And now I don't happen to be gay, so you'd have to pick something else that I do wrong, which there are plenty of. It's a target-rich environment.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So, and then you're going to come and out me on that, and you're going to say, I'm not going to give you the same rights and privileges, and I'm not going to treat you like a regular citizen because you do X. I got to roll up my sleeves.
I would roll up my sleeves too, but I would fight the way we fight. That's all. I mean, and she sounds like she'd fight the way we fight, I mean, I'd talk about it all the time. I'd talk about the indignity of the fact that so many of these Republicans are running around, and I'd say, and I know 6 of them are having affairs right now. Because in a way, that gets all 60 of them in trouble, right?
That's what I'm saying.
And then so you get the 54 who aren't saying to the 6 who aren't, hey, motherfuckers.
Yeah, be cool, be cool.
So I want her to talk about it. I don't want to be accused of standing by while the people on the right under the auspices of family values come out and mock gays and ostracize single mothers and make people who they feel less than them outsiders. I don't want to stand by while that happens, but the tactic I don't want to take is airing their dirty laundry. It also sets off an ugly chain of events that could end in real tragedy that I just don't think you want to publicly get involved in.
One other thing that I do want to say is, let's say she does go the classy route and she doesn't actually out someone.
Right.
Yeah. She is on the winning side. So a federal judge already ruled that the gay marriage ban in Alabama is unconstitutional. However, there is a 2-week stay, which means that gay couples can't get married in Alabama yet. They have to wait to see if an appeals court is going to take on the case and if they're going to rule on it. But it seems as though Alabama is going to be the 37th state that legalizes same-sex marriage. So she's on the winning side.
Yeah. No, I know, but I think that what she's trying to do is stay on the winning side. She knows the court's ruled that way. But this is when the legislature can come in and go, oh, yeah, well, we don't care what the court says. Now, they'd be in the wrong, but they've done it many times in the past. And then they would pass laws anyway that at least blocks it for X period of time until the Supreme Court weighs in, et cetera, right? So now if it turns out they don't do that in Alabama, okay, then there's a good chance that even if she was bluffing, that bluff might have worked.
Right.
Like if they just take the court's ruling and go, oh, golly gee, I guess the court ruled, nothing we could do about that, then she might have been onto something.
Yeah.